Hi, Respect Movie Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain an action-packed Bollywood thriller movie called Dhoom 2. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care.
The movie starts somewhere in the Namib Desert, where a train carrying the British royalty is passing through. Inside, Queen Elizabeth plays hide-and-seek with her grandsons among heavy security. We get to know that one of the carriages holds a crown, laced with priceless jewels. The Queen later instructs her guards to draw the curtains of the carriage, so that it remains hidden from any prying eyes. She points out that the crown could be seen from the skies. Meanwhile, an infamous thief, simply known by his alias, Mr. A, skydives over the desert. He expertly glides and lands on top of the train. The scene shifts, and the Queen reappears at the carriage that contains the crown. She signals the guards outside to let her in, and they oblige. Moments later, the two princes run past, still enjoying their game of hide-and-seek. But, to the utter shock of the guards, Queen Elizabeth is gleefully following the boys. They look at each other in confusion as they had seen the Queen enter the carriage a few minutes ago. Upon further investigation, it finally dawns on the guards that the person they initially let in was an imposter, disguised as the Queen. They rush into the carriage only to find the crown replaced with a steel shuriken shaped as the letter A. This is Mr. A's signature that he leaves on site after each robbery. In the meantime, the infamous thief has already made it to the top of the train, still dressed as the Queen. He takes off his disguise and makes preparations to escape. Just then, some armed guards begin climbing on top of the train to confront him, but Mr. A uses his exceptional fighting skills to knock them down one by one before making a dramatic escape. Elsewhere, near a fishing village in Mumbai, a group of local dealers are waiting for a new batch of drugs. Their supplier is Ali Khan, a well-connected mechanic who used to be famous for selling stolen exotic bikes. However, a few years ago, he was cornered by the local police on suspicion of a bank robbery. This caused his reputation to take a massive hit, and he isn't that popular among the criminals now. Currently, he arrives with a briefcase full of drugs, but his nervous demeanor raises suspicions. The local dealers have heard rumors that Ali has started working with the police, so they question him, but he vehemently denies having any association with the cops. They eventually let him leave after making sure that he has brought the right drugs. Unfortunately, on his way out, Ali drops an ID card which is grabbed by one of the dealers. Another guy then discovers a transmitter in the drug shipment. This effectively blows Ali's cover, and it turns out he is an undercover cop. In fact, he is now a sub-inspector, working with the local law enforcement agency. He is held at gunpoint, and the dealers plan to end his life on the spot. But at this precarious moment, his superior, ACP Jai Dixit, arrives with backup force and arrests the dealers. Meanwhile, the case of the stolen British royal crown has gone international. Mumbai Police Department also hosts a meeting, briefing its high-ranking officials about the infamous thief. The presentation is hosted by Officer Shonali, Jai's former classmate. During the briefing, she reveals that Mr. A is a master of disguise and targets artifacts that have great historical significance, but he only goes after things that he considers perfect, with no physical defects. His notable heists include a jewel from London, a painting from Paris, Keanu Reeves, and a necklace from Istanbul. Hearing this, Jai logs in the coordinates of these places on a map. He identifies that there is a pattern in Mr. A's robberies, and then briefs his team. It is revealed that the infamous thief is trying to draw an A, his symbol, over the world map. Furthermore, there is a specific pattern in the dates that he chooses to conduct the heists. Using this information, Jai predicts that Mr. A's next robbery will be in Mumbai on the 14th of June. Following the briefing, the ACP narrows the possibility down to two historical artifacts that are both currently in Mumbai. The first is the royal necklace of Mumtaz Mahal, after whom the Taj Mahal was named. The second is a stunning blue diamond that belonged to the Mughal rulers of northern India. He forms a capable team and buffs the security around both these artifacts. On the other hand, Mr. A is already in Mumbai. He's actually busy designing specific gadgets that he will use for his upcoming heist. 14th of June arrives, and it is revealed that Mr. A is going for the rare diamond. He dives into a canal and sneaks into the bathroom of the museum that currently houses it. Mr. A covers himself in white paint and manages to sneak into the inner chamber. There, he disguises himself as a marble statue, blending seamlessly with the chamber's other artwork and the astonishingly white patronage. He then brings out a remote-controlled car that he designed for this mission. Using the live feed from its camera, he navigates it stealthily towards the diamond and gently picks it up. Following this, Mr. A uses a holographic image to give the illusion that the diamond is still in its assigned place. Before anybody can even know what happened, he sneaks back into the bathroom with the diamond. When he comes out, he is disguised as an old cleaning staff. Elsewhere, Jai anxiously patrols the necklace of Mumtaz Mahal, while Ali is stationed outside the museum where the diamond is. Sometime later, a professor meets Jai and gives him a brief history on the necklace. Turns out that Mumtaz had once thrown it so hard out of anger that a small ruby in it had been missing ever since. Upon hearing this, Jai realizes that the Mr. A will take the diamond, as he only goes after perfect things. He immediately gets into his car and rushes towards the museum. On the way, he calls Ali and explains everything. The sub-inspector then decides to head towards the inner chamber with several armed officers, but before he can do so, Ali bumps into an old cleaning staff in the outer yard of the museum. This old man is actually Mr. A in disguise. Ali asks for forgiveness, and his senior officer, who is still on the phone, inquires who he is saying sorry to. When Ali recalls what happened, the ACP orders him to arrest the man right away. It turns out all the museum staff are on leave today. Ali then rushes to the old man and asks for his ID, but unbeknownst to him, Mr. A is strategically standing on a manhole, covering the museum's drainage system. He hands the police his ID and simultaneously activates a device in his shoe. This causes acid to begin to drip out of the sole and corrode the metallic manhole. In the meantime, Ali is puzzled as there's no name on the front of the card. The old man calmly says his name is on the back. When Ali flips the card over, he is shocked to find Mr. A's signature. But before he can react, the notorious thief escapes through the manhole and vanishes right under their noses. Ali relays the information to Jai, and the duo tries their best to catch the thief, but Mr. A uses his advanced gadgets to escape. Fucking gadgets, man. That evening, he appears at the airport in another disguise and with a fake passport. There, he hears a rather curious news report. Someone pretending to be him has issued an open challenge to stop him from stealing an ancient and priceless sword. As a man of culture, Mr. A decides to dunk on the fake thief by stealing the sword for himself. The next day, Jai and his team arrive at the palace where the sword is, but Mr. A has already sneaked in through an alternate route. Inside, he watches on as another thief tries to get the sword, but when the newbie is about to yank the artifact from its shelf, Mr. A reveals himself and warns the imposter not to do so. He says that the sword is surrounded by invisible lasers that trigger alarms and electric shocks. In a bold move, Mr. A tosses a coin towards the laser, setting off the alarm. This prompts the guards to cluelessly rush in, where they are caught by the electric shocks. Taking full advantage of this, the newbie grabs the sword and flees. He even leaves behind Mr. A's signature, as if to mock the infamous criminal. Shortly after, the fake thief reaches the roof of the palace, where Shonali is eagerly waiting with a gun, but Mr. A arrives just in time to disarm her and rescue the imposter. He then grabs the guy and jumps off the palace, using a parachute to guide them away. Something tells me the imposter's a woman. Mr. A gonna jiggy. Hours later, Mr. A drags the fake thief to his safe house. The latter then removes the mask, revealing herself as a hot woman. Oh, I knew it, dude. Named Shonali. Mr. A gonna do jiggy. She appears to be smitten by Mr. A and claims that she only tried to steal the sword to meet him. She then requests to be his apprentice, but Mr. A declines and leaves with the sword. Later that night, he observes Shonali from afar and approaches her in disguise. He is stunned by her sheer beauty, so he finally agrees to take her on as his understudy. A few days later, Shonali meets Jai at a movie theater in Mumbai. In a shocking twist, it is revealed that she has been undercover for the police from the start. She was caught during a robbery a few years ago, but Jai let her go on the condition that she help him. Shortly after Jai sneaks out, Mr. A arrives at the theater in disguise to meet Shonali. He gives her a passport and tickets for their next heist in Rio. This information is then relayed to Jai, which Mr. A remains unaware about. A few weeks later, Mr. A and Shonali arrive in Rio to prepare for their next mission. The cops have also been stationed there with the help of Interpol. Weeks pass by, and Mr. A starts trusting Shonali, who seems like a happy-go-lucky woman. One afternoon, he finally meets her without any disguise and reveals his real name, Aryan. He then asks if she trusts him, and she confirms wholeheartedly. But he doesn't trust people so easily, and has a scary test for her. Aryan then takes her to a cliff and orders her to jump off. The poor woman agrees without hesitation and leaps off, hoping to be saved by the water below. Fortunately, Mr. A jumps behind her with a cable attached for safety and grabs her halfway down the cliff. He reveals reveals that this was a test to see if she can follow orders without hesitation. The next day, Aryan goes for a walk in disguise and unexpectedly runs into Jai. Though strangers, they strike up a conversation upon discovering they are both of Indian origin. Jai pretends to be a writer, while Aryan claims to be a collector of rare items. Later that evening, Shonali sneakily meets with Jai and reveals that she has gained enough of Aryan's trust. She assures him that she will fulfill her duty at any cost. The next day, Aryan takes Shonali to a museum to finalize their plan. He reveals their target, a collection of ancient coins worth approximately $18 million. The two then discuss for a while, and he briefs her with all the intricate details. Following this, Shonali heads to a party to discreetly relay the information to Jai. The ACP is impressed by her work, and he gives her a device to alert the police once they're inside the museum. Unbeknownst to them, Aryan is watching from nearby, disguised as one of the performers in the party. He realizes that Shonali has been working with the cops all along. Feeling deeply disappointed, he begins to regret the genuine feelings he had for her. The eve of the heist soon arrives, and Shonali grows increasingly anxious around Aryan. He suddenly asks how she would feel if he were to die during their mission, confessing that he feels nervous about it. Later, he knowingly takes her to a party where Jai is present. In a shocking twist, he appears without disguise and meets the ACP face to face. The two men acknowledge each other's true identities, Aryan as Mr. A and Jai as the officer pursuing him. However, Jai doesn't arrest the criminal immediately, as he plans to catch him in the act instead. The next morning, Aryan confronts Shonali and demands that she confess the truth. She initially tries to brush him off, but upon much insistence, finally admits that she has been collaborating with Jai. It is revealed that both of them are in love with each other at this point. Now that she has been caught, Shonali has a change of heart and pleads for another chance. In response, Aryan challenges her to a game of Russian roulette. Shonali nervously agrees as she is determined to regain his trust. The two then take turns pulling the trigger until only one bullet remains. The gun ends up in Shonali's hands, leaving her to face the final moment of truth. She tearfully says that she accepts this punishment for deceiving him. She also confesses her love for Aryan and pulls the trigger on herself. However, the revolver clicks empty as the clever thief had never loaded it with a bullet. Aryan now trusts her again, and the duo reconciles with a passionate kiss. It's so hot that you were down to die for literally nothing. The scene then cuts to the day of the heist, and Jai guards the collection of coins at the museum alongside Ali. Unbeknownst to them, the thieves have cleverly infiltrated the crowd, disguised as a group of performers who are dwarves. Soon afterward, Aryan releases spiders among the children in the museum, causing chaos. This allows them to steal the coins, as the police are distracted by the crowd. Immediately after, Jai rushes to the apartment where Aryan had been staying, only to find it empty. He then receives a call from Shonali, who reveals that she has chosen to stand by Aryan. This infuriates Jai so much that he launches a search operation and gets on a chopper himself. He quickly notices the thieves fleeing on a motorcycle. A high-speed chase then ensues, and the thieves end up splitting to avoid being captured. Unfortunately, their luck runs out, as Jai eventually catches up to Aryan. The two get into an altercation where the thief refuses to surrender, but the tides turn in favor of the police, as Ali arrives on the scene, holding Shonali as a hostage. Aryan now finds himself in a desperate situation, torn between avoiding arrest and ensuring his lover's safety. At this critical moment, he says something rather curious. Aryan asks the cops if they have loved anyone madly enough to kill them. His words confuse the ACP, but Shonali seems to catch the hidden meaning. She then abruptly shoots Aryan, causing him to fall off the cliff. Shocked by the turn of events, Jai berates Shonali but decides to spare her from imprisonment, as if he can make that decision himself. He coldly states that her punishment is living with the guilt of killing her beloved. The scene then shifts to 6 months later. Shonali now manages a small restaurant in Mexico, happy and away from crime. But in a shocking turn of events, Aryan appears at the same restaurant alive and well. Turns out they had staged his death to leave their life of crime and start anew. One afternoon, Officer Jai also arrives at the restaurant to confront them. He apparently knew that Aryan was alive, but let him disappear to arrest him later. Aryan, now a genuinely changed man, hands over the location of all the stolen artifacts in a pen drive. Impressed by his transformation and honesty, Jai decides not to arrest him and gives them a chance to live a new life. Ironically, Jai will probably end up in jail for this. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.